Hello, hello, good morning. Welcome to another ES Futures trading stream. Today is Wednesday, October 15th. It is 11:38 a.m. Eastern Time in the US. Okay, the market. I I have titled the stream "What the Market Wants from You or from Us." Right. The market want what the market wants is us to believe that we can make a lot of money here. Right. That's one thing. Right. How that happens. I mean, I'm trying to create a narrative, right? I tend to create a narrative about trading, kind of like trading psychology, trading behavior of us or retail traders. Right? In order to make money from the market perspective, first, if you are the market, for example, and you are in that position, what you would do, right? More likely what you would do is make the other one believe, in this case us, believe that we can make money by having gains, having small gains or some kind of gains. Once that happens, there's a lot of things or emotional reactions that we have because we are just humans here. And if we don't have a plan, when we see the markets going higher, lower, we will just get caught by what Jim Dalton calls price, right? We just see the market. Just a second, please. Hey, stop it. Stop it. Relax. Relax. Yes, I was saying, what we will be just following price. When the market goes higher, we go long. When the market goes lower, we go short, without any specific plan, right, to follow. And I fall for that yesterday. I did fall for that yesterday, and because I ditched my plan, right? I was talking the past couple of weeks about the process, sticking to the process, that the result doesn't matter actually. What matters is that I stick to my process. That's my opinion. But and yesterday I ditched it, right? I fought for FOMO and try to react to what the market did yesterday, thinking that I will get something out of it. The plan doesn't matter. I know what I am doing, right? And I didn't reset. I didn't let it go when my first trade, when I was stopped out of the trade. After that, and this is what happens, right? This is what I named the stream, what the market wants from you. After that, we traders just have the tendency to spiral out of control. And we just dig our graves deeper and deeper and deeper. I didn't have a good day yesterday. Because I didn't follow my plan, right? I didn't follow my plan. I have think about, I guess I can tell you what happened yesterday. I have a pretty good idea what happened yesterday and what happened, but that's not just one thing, right? I also need to have an analysis of what happened to me as well. Not just the market. The most important is what happened to me. Right? But if we are going to talk, let's talk about what is happening now. I didn't have a stream early in the morning because I thought there was some good opportunities. There were going to be some good opportunities today, especially think based on what happened yesterday. I will talk about this later, in a bit. But based on what happened here, and the market opening above yesterday's highs, I thought there was going to be some kind of upside here if this gap was not filled. The gap here, which didn't happen in the first period. The reaction that we had in the market was, I don't know if you have noticed this, right? But the opening was pretty similar. All traders tried to replicate what happened the previous day, almost in the same exact way, right? The same exact way. Right? Inventory is or was 100, almost 100% long. So there were reasons there for this market to go lower, right? To go lower because any upside coming or having this kind of base, right? Having overnight inventory as a base is not that strong, really. Remember, that's just my opinion. So what I thought is I'm going to get long in this market, and I did it, right? And I did it right after, if you remember when the opening happened, there was, if you were present in this market, there was an upside. There was also an opening. It just shoot its way down, kind of like around this way. Then went higher. And when it closed the distribution here, just soon after that, the market make a significant dip really fast. I have my plan in but this will depend on context, okay? This will depend on context. But usually, right? Usually, when there is a tendency, when there is a trend that the market is trying to establish, or is established trend, or the market is struggling in some way, or there's inventory trap in the opposite direction, right? The market keeps going, but it wants a shake. It wants a shake of the weak, in this case, weak longs. Or it can be weak shorts as well. It is going the opposite way. And I saw that as an opportunity to get long. I did got in. Right? I did got in. I think, right? I think it was soon. I get in too soon. Too soon, because it was right after that I decided, okay, this is it, right? This is my plan. Goes. Okay. I saw something here that triggered a movement. Okay, market was up here, for example. It came really fast down here. Right, this is my entry was actually kind of like around here, this area, right? But was targeting this opposite side, or maybe somewhere inside or before this. Okay, so there was some potential upside here. That's what I thought. What I was the plan then, okay? Because I had to, that happened really fast, right? And I need to have an idea where my stops are before entering. Okay, what I didn't want to happen is the market. I'm going to do this again. Okay, but I'm going to duplicate this. What I didn't want is the market keep coming lower and close the gap. Because there are two possible outcomes of the trade that I took here. One is the virulent or the quick break that it has, that was like 10 points in a fraction of a second, right? If there is some downside continuation, right? So the movement has a strength. But if there is no downside continuation, the more likely result is the market will continue going higher. In this case, higher. I did see the market came back to the opening and continue going lower, taking what was the low and kind of like dying around this area. And here's when I understood, right? This probably, okay, this trade may not work, right? Because I saw this like the initial trade I wanted to have, which was buying the attempt to close the gap. My entry was way up here, and I did options. I did in this and I thought, boy, this is not good for me. The market may actually come run in my direction, but the risk is increasing now for me. That's what I say. And I decided to hedge here. I was trading today's options, and I decided to hedge with tomorrow's puts, right? The 65.25 puts. Because I think if there was some risk here to the upside, the potential to the downside was probably better here. I mean, the risk was not that much. Okay, the market could easily get into green, into profits, just enough to close the trade, to close the first trade, and basically have the puts by free. But nothing is guaranteed here, because everything is I had to take a risk. The next thing, I hope you have seen this one. Yeah, I am talking just about today. When the market reached this area, right, I have seen just the dynamics of the back and forth, up, going down. The dynamics changed here, changed really, really significantly. There was nothing here. The market just stalled and has no upside, nothing. Right? It just stopped there. It couldn't go higher. It really couldn't go higher. It just stalled there. And that's when I come to see. And actually, this was also part of the initial observations. Something that I got from yesterday was where the market opened relative to this spike here. And here again, I go back to yesterday. Okay, I get back to yesterday, and here I had, and this is why I thought the market owned me really, really good yesterday. This area here, what is it? This area here is this one in particular. That's an unfinished auction. That is an unfinished auction to the downside. The auction was not finished here. This one adds weakness to this level. I don't care about the number, just checking that. That was 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 periods. Before that, C period has something remarkable as well. the same thing actually, right? The same thing, and finish the action to the downside, meaning that there is pressure to the downside, but there is not just prices are not that high to trigger a selling here. Right? You have this one, I had this one, right? Didn't do anything, okay? And when the market starts, oh, from this area in the lower side, okay, from this area here, what I have is something very, very important that came to play later in the afternoon. And this is the market finding support here in this area. I was also tracking, I am still tracking this area here from the day when it has a big break. There's tremendous amount of trading in this area. So all of this area here, all of this area, I'm going to keep doing a lot. Come on, I'm going to keep adding crap here. Okay, hope you don't get confused. This area here has huge volume, right? It wasn't surprising that the market didn't take that area down, and it wasn't surprising that, I mean, when the market tried to sell here, it tried to sell. If you were here, if you have a replay capability in your software, replay this area and you will see what happens here, how the market maker stands here in this area. Okay, that market was it. And then the market becomes rotational with extremely weak highs here and extremely weak lows here. Any of this, my plan, okay, my plan here was, right? There is something here that is really bad to the upside and really bad to the downside. If something happened here, the trade actually is the opposite one, right? And consider also what we were talking, right? The break that we have is a really significant break we have on Friday, that they also rebalancing the inventory in one session are, for me, kind of low. It needs at least a couple sessions for the market to find balance. This area yesterday was important for what happened here. There was a huge liquidation that happened really fast, and this is when the market owned me. Okay, because I bought here. I bought a call here when the market went down here, but I bought that in the reaction. I didn't plan truly, okay, because I was expecting the market to do something. The market closed this distribution, right? The market closed this distribution as well, came back up here, and I said, this is the market. When the market closed this one, not that good, probably. I was giving good also this market coming back to take this high. But the volume that came, right? The volume that came was a significant volume there. It happened so fast. How I track, another way how I track volume is when I see these are blocks, right? There was tremendous amount of blocks here, right? Huge blocks here. And that told me, boy, this market, so there is some pressure here for the downside, but the also market is coming back to take this high, especially if that's the last period where kind of really low. And that's when I spiraled out of control. All right. I closed my trade for a loss. I was stopped out of my trade actually. I was stopped out of my trade for a loss. And I went in the direction of the market. So what I did, or what I didn't do, is I did not reset. I did not let it go. I did not get back to the calm state of mind where I can replenish my mental capital. I didn't do that. And I went long puts expiring the same day, kind of like a very around this area, maybe here. But then, as soon as I got long those puts, I remember this. I actually had it marked. Something else that I have in market, remember? this, these ones, and these ones. I was playing these things. You know, the market repairing this unfinished action up here. Okay, they did this thing. These ones here. What was the other one? 64, kind of like. Well, okay, I don't remember that way, but I got two A. Oh, this one. It wasn't this one. My bad. Copy. Move the one. It was this one. It wasn't this one. But this is an unfinished action here. It did took these ones, these two, right? Market has significant volume down here, right? As well as where is held back now. Okay, and I was playing for downside continuation, and when I saw, okay, I was watching this, but I didn't remember what happened here until after I was long puts here, and I said, oh boy, this is not good. Okay, this is if this market doesn't keep going lower fast, they say I got to get out. The walls that will keep going lower fast were really low for me. I realized why. Because what happened this day? This day happened really fast, and the same thing happened twice, you know, kind of like a right after the day it happened, are very low. And that also plays a role in what I did today, right? That way of thinking. Okay, so I close here. I close for a loss. I got kind of like 8 points loss here total the day, which is no good, not acceptable. All right. The next thing is, you know, before thinking anything, I just have to reset here, right? So I wasn't at that time in an altered state of mind. I was calm. I started to write what I did, right? When I consider there is something important that happened, not in the market, but with me, what I do is I write, right? I write 3 things that I think I did well, 3 things that I think I didn't do well, and 1 thing that I think I should improve, right? And I do that not in a religious way, but I try to do when I consider there is something important to be written, to be right. And after a while, after a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months, the idea is that I get back to those writings, to those journals, and there's 1 thing that will be seen there, you know, if there is any, right? They will see we should be able to see if you write the same things over and over, especially that 1 thing that you want to improve. If that 1 thing that you want to improve is repeated constantly, that's you got something there, right? You got something where to focus your efforts. Okay, now let's forget about this. Okay, this one remains. This area remains. The more market trades through a reference area, the less relevant it is. Market has traded a couple times. It is leaving now something here, right? And when I started the stream, there's something that I realized, right? In the same way as I have these things here, I completely forgot. I really forgot what I had up here. This area here is support resistance. I was talking about this area the whole week last week. How this area was forming. And actually the trade that I took here at one moment was aiming to come to this, to take this high. Is that possible? I thought, right? That's the first thing I thought. Is that possible? Right? My charts were like this, right? And this kind of was outside. And maybe, who knows? There's not that much distance. But the next thing I thought after that is, man, what are the odds? Okay, what are the odds the market having back-to-back trending days? The odds of having the market having back-to-back trending days are really low, are not that good. I have now, as you can see here on the right side, I have now a script. I have built a study in which I have volume, in which I can compare ES volume, today's volume, relative to yesterday. Actually, there's 10 days, but I am just interested now in checking. I still have to. I think this is too much. I want to overlap these bars one on top of another one, instead of having start all them from zero. Okay, but I can see here, for example, that volume is lower relative to yesterday. Okay, so higher prices were not attracting more activity. Okay, so and this happened just I finished this as the market opened, so I was kind of like distracted here, right? As the market stalled, and this is part of the trade, of today's trade, as the market is just didn't have anything here. I was just watching this. All right. Again, if you have replay capabilities in your software, replay this part, this period, at least if you can do it real time, A and B, that would be great, because you can see here, you can clearly see when tempo changes in the market. Yeah, it just dies here. The contrast, and tempo is something. This I got this from Jim. Tempo is something that I cannot teach you, that cannot be taught. You have to learn tempo. Right? This is a good opportunity here. This is a good opportunity, again, if you have replay capabilities, to replay these two periods and see what happened here. Also, use the same thing, or do the same thing in this area from yesterday. Okay, in this case, you will see how the market makes a stand around in this area in particular that I have highlighted. What area is this? The 66, call it 66, oh, easy to remember, a bunch of sixes there, 66, 66, you know. This can be, maybe this can be the potential destination of this movement. All right. Now, Warren Buffett comes to play here, right? Predicting range doesn't count. Building arcs is what matters. Okay? The fact that I can kind of like have a, accept that, relax, and kind of like some sort of reading of the market, it doesn't mean I have something or I am taking advantage of that. All right? Before getting here, the market has to deal with 6,700. This is a questionable low. This is a questionable low also. The market has not closed this distribution. If there is something to the downside, if this area is going to be reached, the market probably will start building value here and not close this distribution. This distribution is closed. Okay, now we have value area higher, prices are lower, and this can be probably a buy, right? This can be a buy rather than sell. Also, what's happening? The Dow has come back inside the range. Russell also has come back inside range. Nasdaq has come back inside range and is getting out of range. Yeah. There's one thing here. I wouldn't play a short. This is my opinion, right? I am just watching here. I think if I am short here, this is increasing the risk now. Notice where D high is, notice where E high is, notice where F high is. Okay, this can be a play for later. Notice how this distribution has been closed. Okay, this has been closed. Now, the market is going lower. The next thing I am observing here is the ability of the market. Now I'm going to, where's the rectangle? Now I'm going to uh-oh. What is that? That's purple. That's not green. What? Okay. Yellow is the new green. All right. If value cannot be moved inside yesterday's value, okay, got to be aware. That's what I'm watching now. The ability of the markets, or for that instance, the traders, short-term traders, moving value at least inside yesterday. If that doesn't happen, there can be something, some sort of short covering at close. Some sort. All right? Patience is really important here as well. I don't have a trade now. I am flat. And I am going to keep working in this area, in this volumes here. If you have any questions, again, please just let me know. Or comments. There's not a right way to see markets. It will all depends of what your views, your beliefs, your plans are. This is what the stream is showing. It doesn't look bad. I think it can be. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. I mean, you cannot see exactly. I can see the numbers on my screen here, but in here. Also, you now have a bunch of screens there. Let me, okay. All right. This is crazy. Yeah, okay. Let me see. These numbers cannot, I don't know, I guess it cannot be seen clearly. All right. In the stream, much less Nasdaq. Man, Nasdaq is the ranges in Nasdaq are so big that, I mean, this is now has been corrected, this has been corrected. Again, yesterday, one of the things that we talked yesterday is or Monday, right, to start the week was, is this market, okay, I think I was thinking that probably I was trying to figure out, right, I was observing if this market was going to have the opportunities developed during the overnight session. That was the case for yesterday. It was yesterday, the case before yesterday as well. I am still paying attention to that. Okay. One of the things that happen in trading is the markets also. Oh, this is another thing the market wants from us, right? Markets want us to believe that there are certain things that there is certainty here in this business. That if the market is going higher, the market will keep going higher. The market was trending, there was a rotation, the market will keep doing rotation or whatever, okay? And I am now aware that when the market is putting me to sleep, literally and figuratively, I had to be very aware, all right? That is what happened. That is what happened here in the markets. Well, this break that we have Friday, right? This huge break that we have Friday. This one here. Now has given us a range. And this is another thing that I'm observing, right? How far the market can go relative to this low, and is the market going to reach this high here? Probably taking this high out as well. There was a significant back and forth from this trend line. The market in the monthly is pretty much where it opened. It opened at 710, now it's 717, basically there. Right? It was the same. It was the same in the weekly as well. So there is this is another perspective, right? Another point of view is basically there. Right? Now, something that I'm observing here, I can see it here in the profiles, but I can see it better, right? The market opened with a gap relative to yesterday, relative to this 2 days range. This is another thing here. This is another thing. We have an inside bar. The market looked below, looked above, and it had the opportunity. Okay? It had the opportunity to close really up high here. I was wondering. I was really, the market being here, trading back and forth in this area. I really wanted to get some calls and puts aiming to take these highs and these lows, right? The calls to take this, as soon as these highs are taken, you got just let the calls go, or if it happens the other way around, let it go. When I was thinking that this break happened, right? The break happened, and that's when the market owned me, right? That's when I get out of control. That's when I ditch my plan. Right? At that moment in time, I got no reason to get into the market because I was planning something, and the market just started doing what I wanted to do without me, and I just, I guess I think, or I thought, this is it, right? The market is doing things. I need to go in this. I was late, and that is FOMO. I was late, and when I got in, I forgot completely about the plan, about the other side of the plan, about the strategy was for that trade. I completely forgot about that, and I was just spiraling. This is what is called the death spiral, right? You got one trade after another, and each one is just you start to collect the losses over losses over losses, and each one is bigger than the previous one. I was on, and that's how the market owns you, and that's what the market wants from you, from us. All right? Market wants us to get out of control. Market wants us to get into this business without a plan. Market God wants us to start working without studying. Market wants us to think that we can make lots of money. The market wants us to not to be prepared, to take, the market wants us to take any break that we may have in our part-time jobs, on our jobs or whatever, on our business, and wants us to believe that we can make it. Just by having 30 minutes, just by having 60 minutes, or just a couple hours during the day. That's what the market wants from us. The market wants us to not to have passions. The market wants us not to stick to our plans. The market wants us to not to have a plan. The market wants us not to have a strategy. Do you have a strategy? Is the thing, right? One of my friends, one of the guys that I meet in Discord, was really, when you talk to him, you can feel it. You can feel that he's very emotional. It's very emotional. It is impressive how just by reading, a couple lines of a chat, you can see how the state of mind of the other person is. It was very emotional. And I asked him, right? I didn't ask why you do that, but I asked, were you following your plan? And the answer was quite, how can I say, I don't have this word, come on. Illuminating, right? It highlight a lot, they put a lot of light on the type of personality, the type of risk that he's taking, and he knew that, right? That's his subconscious knew. It is maybe that happens. I am quoting him. Maybe this happens because I don't have a plan. I said, I should have a plan. That was his next statement. I didn't follow up. This happened a couple years ago. I don't remember exactly when, maybe 1 year or 2 years ago, but that was something that many people do. At least us retail traders, that is a common thing in our job. We just don't have a plan, right? And I don't have a plan that is written in stone, but I am very flexible. I am not afraid to change my mind. What helps? Do you remember the process that I mentioned? I look like a, like this damaged program, right? I look like a bug here, repeating the same thing over and over, right? Let's start with this. Why I don't Okay, I start with this. Oh, come on. You can make circles or whatever, right? Or you can also make a wave here. Right? In this part, which is the observation part, I just don't have any kind of bias here. I don't have anything, and that allows me, right? That allows me to see the market, to see what the market is doing, right? To be one with the market when I am in this process. If I don't have anything here, I probably will be looking to the downside here now. Are you looking to the downside? Okay. The planning, right? The planning is something that actually it doesn't start here because I have several, maybe several scenarios, several ways to place a trade. This is one type of trading or positioning that may happen when the market volatility is high, for example, right? Volatility is high. I may trade. I may position myself different. I may use options instead of futures. When volatility is very low, I may expect short movements, not that big, right? When there's trending markets, the positioning can be different. You know, there's many things that happen, right? And from this part, any of these subtypes of plans can be used here. Right? When I start to plan how I take profits, how I put. Sometimes, for example, I have specifically designed here my positioning. If I use futures, I got micros here. And this is another thing, right? If you feel very uncomfortable when doing a trade, when you're taking profits too soon, or cutting losses, or getting losses extend, maybe you need to downside. Maybe I need to go lower here. Right? One of the things here is I have pre-established, right? Pre-established stops here that I use, that I may use. If I hit buy here, for example, the market automatically will put a 5-point stop down here with a what is this 80 or like 40 points, 20 points profit kind of, and then I adjust from that. And other times I just do this and I put my stops manually here. Okay? I put my stops manually. That is one way. If I have something, again, depending what kind of markets we have, I got my options board here from where I choose. Usually, I was doing today. I was doing today's and tomorrow's. Okay. Now, from this planning, something happened here, for example, will trigger I enter, and then I start to monitor where do I put my stops, how I monitor the market, and comes the most important, not the most important, I guess everyone is important, but this could be the second most important here. This is the performance part, because in this part is when I actually have skin of the game, right? I have a position here. I have to be very aware of what's happening, because I can get hurt. I can lose here. There comes the reset, and then the loop starts all over again. Yesterday, I did not have this. Okay, I did not have this. I just jumped. What happened yesterday? I got from this back to this. You know, get it back in again. I didn't do this. I didn't observe. I kind of like corrected, went back to here at one moment in time, and that is when it was actually too late. You know, when I observed the market make a stand here. And okay, this is not going to work, and that's why I decided to close. Right? When it didn't even get down to here. All right. It's when I noticed this was here. Oh, okay, I just get out. I took my loss, and step out. If this is the wave, this part can be this part, right? The planning comes here. This is the most demanding part, right? The performance. I think that all this can be the performance part. This is when you spend most of the capital, most of the mental capital is spent here. And then comes the reset. What happened to me yesterday is I did not do this. I just stayed here. I started doing this. Right? At one moment in time, I didn't even come down. I came down to here, right? I did the reset after the market closed. If I wasn't able to do this part, right? Maybe I can call it here, right? Because this again is the observation part, right? And I didn't do this. If I wasn't going to be able to do this, much less was going to be able to do this, and much less going to put myself out here to do anything today. Right? Now, this can help. This kind of process can help, you know, to create a plan. If you don't have a plan, this can help. Then it is not one thing. There are so many things that happen that happen at the same time. This is a very complex job, right? It's not complicated. It is complex. Okay. As I'm talking, I'm watching this. We have an inside bar now. We have an inside bar. Market is started. We may have the same thing that happened here. We may have it here actually. Oh, okay, this was correct. There is no. The trend to the downside continues. The auction to the downside continues. Right? One of the things that helped me is I have identified, right? I have identified the behavior. One of the behaviors that I had that I didn't like it, that I wanted to correct. Talking about that doesn't help, doesn't correct anything. And this I got from Brett Steenbarger. And Dr. Brett Steenbarger is, I guess I can use the same chart here. Right? When we as emotional beings, we may be, this could be our normal, right? And when we are under duress, in situations of stress, we can get emotional. We can fight here, flight. We have these visceral reactions, right? Instinctive reaction. Fun. What's the other one? Fight, flight, fear. Fear? Fear, fight, flight. I don't know, but there are four F's now. And I wanted to change one of these, right? This emotional, one of these fear, fly, well, one of these things. I don't remember exactly how what it was, but I have identified something here. Oh, okay. I want to stay in a trade. That was it. I want to stay in a trade because I was fear that I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose. But to do that, I have to correct the behavior, not in trading. That was very personal to me. That was a consequence of trauma, the complex trauma that happened to me when I was a child. I have to deal with that first. And the way how I deal, and this is where this process from Dr. Brett Steenbarger comes, right? Once I identify what I want to change, I do plan what I want to do, right? And the next thing I put the plan in action, right? And then repeat, right? And they want to be reset, but we repeat. I will repeat enough times until the subconscious put that in the back of my brain, and I started to acting as the new behavior I wanted. But this part has to happen, okay? It doesn't happen by talking. That I need to identify when I am having that reaction, and when I having that reaction, okay, I have the old behavior. I have the old behavior, the one I need, the one I want to replace with a new one. And instead of having this reaction, consciously, I do this. The new one. Believe me when I say it's easy, when I talk about this, but it is extremely, extremely hard. When I was doing this, I had the most incredible high headache that I have ever had in my life. I felt like I was dying. That's how hard it was for me. I really, really felt I was dying because the headache was just. I don't have headaches. Right? I don't have headaches. Right? It was impressive how trauma really has an impact in your body. How all these mental process are stored in our body. And there is this fantastic book, right? But doctor, and this is just, I'm telling this is just in case you are interested. This book, The Body Keeps the Score, by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, talks about that. It is unbelievable how little, right? How little studies are out there regarding that part. That how this originally trauma was thing that was caused by the experience that are out of humans. That lack humanity, right? But it's not like that. Trauma happens when we don't have, right? Even if there is something really shocking that happens to us, but if we don't have the support, the network that is behind to support us on those moments, that's when trauma happens, right? In our childhood, our parents are the ones that should fulfill that role, but it's, for many of us, this just don't happen. There's some insight how that happens. And I found this book after all this, right? After all this journey, late in my journey. And it was incredibly painful. Right? The next time, it hurt not that much. And next time, it hurt less and less, right? Until it becomes a new behavior, right? And this part, this hip here now moves down here, and it becomes this part, right? You are in this stage now, when before you were up here. Of course, there are new things that you always keep. This is a never-ending journey. You just keep working on another thing, another thing, another thing, right? There's not the magic word, magic treatment, magic strategy that works here. Has to be working all the time, over and over and over and over and over and over. Right? As I speak, as we talk here, the market keeps doing its thing. I am still observing this. The market has closed this distribution, right? Many times we have the tendency to jump into action. Right? When this, okay, the market has closed this distribution, the market now is weak, I don't want this to happen, I want to build value down here, I am going to get long here. But just look at what happened here now. For example, right? This inside bar has been taken to the downside. One tick, I won't consider that taken. Let me see how much VIX is. VIX is 20, so this is basically for me. Oh, look at that, man. VIX is 20, and the market is way higher than yesterday. Huh. Okay, this actually, you know what? I am not looking to the downside here, but doesn't mean I'm going to get long. All right, doesn't mean that. What I'm basically observing here is if this value that you can see here moves lower inside this area here, inside this value here from yesterday. If that cannot be done, got to be very careful. Okay, we're holding a short position at the closing, okay? Because something like this can happen, but to the upside. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Okay, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but because there's still a lot of time to go here, right? But that's just one scenario that I'm highlighting. Remember, I am still watching this area here, the 4.6 here, 4.6666, as a potential destination of the current trend. Notice that this also is the low of the spike, also the low, the overnight low. It also settles down. It also takes the overnight low out. Okay, the overnight distributions now have been closed, which also targets this low here. Again, predicting rain doesn't count. What matters is how good I am building arcs. That's a Warren Buffett quote. Volume, let's check volume. This is where it previous period was supposed to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Huh. It's increasing, huh? Notice that this is increasing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is increasing here. A little bit. How much left? 42? Huh. What that's half. We actually may have something like this. Let's see. Ray. I need a ray here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use a ray here. Play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's down here? Huh? What? Yeah, okay, it's better. Let's check where it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Look at that, man. Relative to yesterday, volume now has recovered in 3 periods ago. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, here. During this break here. Okay. I like this. I'm starting to like this thing. Copy, 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 copy down here, okay? Check this out. This is how it was before. And notice before that. Notice this one. Notice that this is very prominent here. The difference, right? It was going lower. Now volume comes. If this continues, we may even have higher volume than yesterday. That can be something here. And what? Okay, let me save this. How much memory are you using? 70%. Man, I got a bunch of charts open here. Too much charts. The risk of having too much. I guess the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put my, I'm going to open README on a laptop. Okay, there are two things here. There's volume coming as the market goes lower, but it's still higher. Right? It's still higher. This looks like it's dealing with the longs here, liquidating the longs. But we had here really fast. Now it's happening. It's taking its time. It's doing, and the way how the market is doing it is different. Right? You can see how different it is. It is the same thing, but it's different. There's a lot of repetition here. There's a lot of repetition, but with variation here. I hope you have seen that. All right, guys. I guess I hope I have delivered what I tried to do here with, trying to put some of my experience, some of my pains out there, right? I'm trying to put the behaviors of traders in context here. There is a sector, there's a group of sophisticated traders here that is going to try to, to figure out what other trades are doing, right? That's what I call trading the traders. All right. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope you had a good day. Stay safe. See you.